Last year's Formula Mazda field ran to the green as James Goffrey led the way in his yellow number 72. Sam Stewart in the red 48 stayed right with Goffrey. And further back, Mark Broyles in the red and black got around Mark Greb for the 11th spot. In the closing laps, the leader closed on lap traffic, frazzled nerves in the pits with Stewart in striking distance, but Goffrey made it through. The checkers fly. James Goffrey took his second championship. Celebration in the pits and a triple crown for the man from Jupiter, Florida. Anytime you have a class with sealed engines and spec chassis, you're going to have close competition, and that's exactly what you'll find in the Formula Mazda class. Franklin Futrell won the June sprints as well as his division. That means that the 22-year-old is going after the coveted SCCA Triple Crown. But to do so, he'll have to get past Mike Anderson. Anderson won the Southern Pacific Division with 5 wins in 6 events, so he certainly has the speed and he does have runoff experience. He finished second in 2006. Talk about experience. Matt Pombo doesn't have much in Formula car racing, but he has been in spec classes before, such as Spec Miata. He knows about close competition. For more on the class, let's go to Dorsey Schrader.
The number 45 Formula Mazda is driven by Juan Marchand. Now, Juan was a podium finisher here last year with a 3rd place finish. He'd like to improve that and win this national championship. Russ Lindemann comes into the contest with 6 wins so far this season. He's yet to win a national championship. He would love this to be his first. Now, Jamie Sloan spent most of his year behind the wheel of a Mustang, but when he's not driving the pony car, he runs this Formula Mazda. He's got 3 wins this year. Last year had a big wreck here. They rebuilt the car. He came in 5th. He'd like to win today, too.
For the 45th year, competitors in the SCCA gather to crown champions in 25 different classes. And they'll gather here at Heartland Park for the 3rd year for those coronations. With beautiful weather in store for us today, the drivers in Formula Mazda are about to do battle to see who will take the championship for the 11th time in that class history. Hello everyone, I'm Brian Till along with Dorsey Schrader, Mike Johnson, and Chris Neville. It is a beautiful day here, 2.5 miles worth of Heartland Park Topeka racetrack, and it should be a spectacular one. Formula Mazda always is. Dorsey, we say 2.5 miles. Take us around.
Well, Brian, 14 corners on this course, and a couple of them have been reconfigured, and those, of course, are over here and down in turn 1 and 2 area. Very high-speed section 1 through 7, but back here, technical, very, very twisty bit of the racetrack. We'll see who's got the handling right today.
We say Formula Mazda will be fun. It is a spec class, Dorsey. Talk us around.
Well, spec class, you know, single-seat cars, an open-wheel car, but like you say, the engines are sealed. These all weigh the same. They have the same bodies.
We'll head straight down to the pit lane with Chris Neville.
Brian, Ken Denault is in his mid-60s, and he has been in every runoffs with this car since Formula Mazda became a class. His best finish is 5th. He's starting 10th today, so Ken has got a little bit of work to do. Mike Johnson right next to me, a little bit further back on the grid.
Thanks, Chris. Well, I tell you, the excitement is really building down here. I can barely hear it through my headset. Everyone's revving their engines, getting in anticipation for this race. Starting 11th, Sam Lockwood. You might remember him. He actually ran World Challenge cars for a long time. He's actually preparing 3 cars in this race for himself, Casey Carden and Matt Plum. He's got a lot of World Challenge experience. Qualified 11th today. His best runoff finish is 11th. He's hoping to do better than that.
For the 11th time, Formula Mazda will do battle for the national championship, and it's a class that's been around for a while, but 11 years in national competition. I remember taking my second driver school in a Formula Mazda car way back in, I'm not sure if I want to say when, 1986, but it'll be a great battle from Heartland Park, Topeka. Here today, the Formula Mazda National Championship on the line when we come back. Stick with us. Racers from 9 different national divisions have done battle throughout the year to qualify for a spot at the SCCA National Championship Runoffs. This year, over 500 competitors will fight for gold in 25 different classes. While it is indeed an honor just to compete here, if you can leave the runoffs with gold medal in your suitcase, You can have immense pride and a job well done, and that's what these boys are going to be doing here, Dorsey. This is going to be a battle. 14 cars, not a huge field, but that doesn't mean the fight will not be intense. And we're going to take a look at the way they will line up. Jamie Sloan will lead the field off. Now, he finished 5th here last year. He's definitely looking to improve. Understand the top 5 all on Goodyears. You were talking about this is a spec class, but not a spec tire.
Not a spec tire at all, because you can have a choice. There are several cars running Hoosier tires in here, and like you said, the top 5 are all on Goodyears. But there's also some cars out there on stickers and some of them on scrubs. A very cold morning this morning, so I think that might throw a few people off.
Well, we've got some last-minute stories from down at pit lane. We'll go first to Chris Neville.
Well, Brian, you talk about this class being around for a little over a decade now. You typically see maybe the champ from last year coming back to defend that title, or some previous champs from years before. But in this entire field, we don't have a Formula Mazda champion here this weekend. Some of these guys have run the Pro Series. A lot of them have run in regionals and nationals around the country, but no champions from any of those previous 11 years. So the great thing is, we're going to have one guy who's going to come away with the gold for the first time. Mike?
Keep an eye on Lucian Pancia. He qualified 4th today, but he actually won his division in Northwest Pacific Championship in 2 ways. He had 2 wins on the way of doing it. Another thing about this guy, and I think you'll like this as well too, Dorsey, he has no data acquisition system. All he has is an old tachometer, and I said, you know, how do you race without data? I mean, I'm so used to it. He said, oh, I just tell my guys on the radio over every corner what I'm doing, what's going on, what my revs are, and they just use that information, and that's how they do all their work.
Good old seat of the pants way, how everybody had to learn.
Old school.
Old school, that's right.
Well, it looks like that the 6th place qualifying car, Matthew Pombo, the first on the Hoosier tire. And Dorsey, you were talking about cool weather, scrubs versus sticker tires. What is that going to do?
Well, you know, and it's what Mike Johnson was saying too, that they're on an intermediate compound tire. They're not on the soft, so they're going to have to warm their tires up on this pace lap, or they get 2, and really watch the first couple opening laps until they get their tire pressures built up and some temperature in those tires.
What's the advantage of a scrub tire over a sticker tire?
Well, the sticker tires are slipperier early on until they get their heat cycle in them. Now, 2 things that happen also beyond that is a sticker tire runs at a higher operating temperature than one that's been scuffed. Once it's scuffed and it's gone through that first heat cycle, it comes back, it's more resilient.
Well, we'll find out who made the right choice here in just a minute. Jamie Sloan on the pole. Mike Anderson outside has a lot of experience in Formula Mazda, but this is only his 2nd runoff, so we'll find out if his experience in national competition will take him to the gold. Looking at the field as they come on to the front straightaway here at Heartland Park, the green flag waves. Formula Mazda underway.
Early green flag, and that's going to make them 3 wide in turn 1.
Oh, Anderson looks to the outside there at the kink, but look at the run. I believe that was Futrell got in the 97. From 3rd to the lead there, Dorsey.
3 wide, the first 2 rows, 6 cars in a space of 2.
And Futrell has just checked out in 3 corners. Now, we'll have to see if everybody else can kind of get gathered back up. But what a start by Franklin Futrell. A jump there and to the lead, and a big lead.
Well, the champion, Jim Goffrey, the last 2 years in a row, picked Futrell to be the guy that would probably win this race. And that's from a guy that should know. He's won the last 2 years in a row. But watch this start, Brian. It was a slow start. The front row kept it down, and then the green flag came out real early, and that stacks everybody up.
And he kind of peeked a little bit early to the outside, and to just kind of get a look, ducked back in and then jumped on it. And it was a great start by Futrell. Take a look real close.
Oh, and they bumped just a little bit right there, wheel to wheel, and that's just danger zone when you get in these open wheel cars.
Man, you don't think these guys want it? Matt Pombo improved as well, but Futrell, that lead, it looks like maybe the rest of the field going, all right, let's just settle down and get a hold of this. Jamie Sloan in 2nd, Anderson in 4th, and then you go back to 4th and 5th. You see the 0-1 of Matthew Pombo has moved up to 5th, the yellow car with the pink end plates there, and the 16 of Russell Lindemann holding down 4th.
You talk about Jamie Sloan last year having a 5th place finish, but that was after he rode a car off in turn 2. He had to borrow pieces from everybody to get his car put back together. Now we got side by side back into turn 1.
And look at this. Good battles here. This is the battle for 4th and 5th. The 0-1 of Pombo picks up another one. He goes past Lindemann there, and absolutely spectacular. Chris?
Well, Brian, Matt Pombo trying to do what his dad did 2 times over. Pepe Pombo winning the national championship twice. Matt ran last year in the Spec Miata, and this is his first year in the Formula Mazda. He's only been driving this open-wheel car 5 different times. Jumped in it at Road Atlanta, was very fast at Road Atlanta, and said, you know what, I kind of like these open-wheel machines.
Pepe Pombo, who you talked about, his father and I raced Datsuns way back when Pepe's been racing for many years.
Using every inch of the racetrack, and Pombo, the first of the competitors on the Hoosier race slick. So right now that tire seems to be coming good, but a problem for the 14, Casey Carden, on pit road.
That's an early retirement there. He's out of his car. I don't see any damage to it.
And typically these Formula Mazda cars are almost bulletproof, but Carden qualified 13th and is out early. It's a shame. You come all the way to the runoffs, you want to at least see the checkered flag at the end. So problems for Carden. Franklin Futrell continues to lead, but right now Jamie Sloan really trying to fight back in a great Formula Mazda battle from the runoffs.
Jamie Sloan runs a Mustang, Ford Mustang, in pro competition. In his spare time, when not doing that, he of course drives this Formula Mazda. Has really high hopes on winning this championship, and he's given Franklin Futrell a lot to worry about right now. You see him looking in his rearview mirror there, checking him out.
Sloan just a bit of a problem putting the power down onto the front straightaway. Now Futrell beginning to pull out a bit, so perhaps the Formula Mazda battle settling down a little bit as Jamie Sloan holds on. Great battles from all around Heartland Park, the 2.5 miles worth of racetrack here where they'll do battle for the runoffs. And Futrell continues to lead over Jamie Sloan and Mike Anderson. That's the way they run in Formula Mazda. And we'll be back for more of the competition from the runoffs right on the other side of this.
Casey Carden, driver of the 14 Formula Mazda, and I have a pretty good relationship together. Casey's mom used to drop him off at my shop on weekends and after school so that he could work on the team, sweeping the floors, working on race cars, doing everything he needed to do to get finally into a race car. Now here you are, your very first runoffs, working and driving in a car that you work on your own.
Yeah, it's definitely been a lot of hard work, but working with professional race teams and learning all the fine aspects of the business have definitely paid off. And throughout this working with teams and showing my commitment to other people, I've picked up people along the way, such as Adam Blank of ABC Recycling that have believed in me, as well as Eric Gregory of Lamborghini Atlanta, and they've all been able to see my commitment and help follow my career.
Well, you're always a big part of our team, and I appreciate it, and that's how you got that great racing suit. And as an Eagle Scout, being prepared has always worked in your benefit.
Well, unfortunately, after the feature, we see the 14 sitting on pit road. And as I said, these cars don't normally have mechanical problems. Chris, what happened?
Yeah, Brian, Casey Carden, 19 years old, just reporting that the car just never cleared out on the pace lap there. So he just thinks there's an ignition problem, just went to the gas. Car just didn't have anything to go, so brought it to pit lane, shut her down, and it's time to head back home.
Well, disappointing, Dorsey. I mean, I've been to the runoffs once before and had a problem, and I know you've been several times. You work all year to get there and then to be out early.
I broke down one time on a pace lap, on the first out lap. That was not a good day.
You spend a week trying to work your way to the front, and then it's all over too soon. Man, look at this. Futrell really sliding that car, Dorsey.
Yeah, look, Mike Anderson is caught up in third place. Remember, it was a 2-car battle before when we went to break. Now Mike Anderson, the 42 there, is going to catch up. I think you're right. Jamie Sloan's got the wrong setup. Ooh.
Man, look at this battle here. This is the battle for fourth. That's Matthew Pombo
and Juan
in
Marchand.
the 01.
Side by side up the front straight.
Pombo with a little move saying, hey, I'm coming over. Marchand saying, I don't care. Great battle here. I mean, and this is what we're used to seeing in Formula Mazda. Marchand just chops across the bow.
And this is turn 1-2, which I highlighted as being changed. It used to be really, really a tight corner, and they've opened it up, so it's not a really good passing zone anymore, Brian. You don't have to brake for it very hard.
I love that interval, 0.006
6 thousandths of a second.
Impressive stuff, and battles, like I said, all around this racetrack, and this is a very good battle for fourth. Marchand has taken it over, and you see that fire belching out of the back of that Mazda power plant. That is not at all uncommon.
No, it's not. These engines, they on D-cell load the exhaust full of raw fuel, and of course that ignites, and so every time they get off the throttle for any length of time, you'll see that flame.
So if you're not experienced watching the Formula Mazda cars, don't worry. We're not about to have a fire, but that's just that normal flame belching out like Dorsey talked about. And some of these drivers really trying to take the bit in their teeth and move it back up to the front. Matthew Pombo, one of those drivers right now. Remember, we said Pombo, the first of the competitors on the Hoosier tires. Can he take it back to Juan Marchand in the 45?
Juan Marchand did something different this year. He left his region and he went out to 2 new tracks that he normally doesn't run, and he went against different drivers that he hasn't raced against before to further his knowledge. So I think that's really paying dividends here today.
There's a good look at the battle of 99, Ken Denault. This is the battle for 8. Austin Snyder in there as well. And Snyder in that 64, the youngest driver in this class, 17 years old. So, you know, we talk about the guys that are driving in this class. You see Snyder right there at the bottom of the screen as he flashes by. This is a place where a lot of young drivers come first, Dorsey, when they're trying to get into their open wheel career. A good place to go from go-karts to a race car, learn your craft, and then hopefully move on up.
Well, Brian, as you know, in a spec car race series like this, no matter where you are in the field, you got somebody to race with.
And the racing continues here from Heartland Park, Topeka. The Formula Mazda National Championship underway, and Franklin Futrell continues to lead. The SCCA National Championship runoffs from Heartland Park, Topeka. The 45th time competitors will do battle for the gold in 25 different classes. A lot of hardware to be handed out here this weekend in Heartland Park. And right now, the battle is for gold in Formula Mazda. Franklin Futrell holding on to the lead, but battles throughout this racetrack. Good battle right there between the 70 of Sam Lockwood and the 0 of Mark Broyles. This is a little further back in the field. The battle for 10th, but it is hot nonetheless.
Trouble. Locked up a break there. A good save, or did he? He's still trying to.
I got it. I think I got it.
He did get it, but it was down the road a piece from where he thought he had it.
That was Mark Broyles in the 0. Little problem under braking. Very tight section of the racetrack there, Dorsey. 12, 13, 14.
Yeah, and we'll take a look at it. And what happens here is he gets into the back of the other car, and it locks his tire up because he almost makes contact. Now, here's a good save. Gets on the throttle. He's in a dirty part of the racetrack and almost loses it there again.
So Broyles with a good job of holding on. Yeah, I think Lockwood in front of him slowed a little bit more than he thought he was going to, and just reacted very quickly. Mike Anderson in the 42. That very brightly painted Formula Mazda. Trying to hold on to 3rd. He has a best runoff finish of 2nd in his only appearance here in 2006, but he spent a lot of time running the Pro Formula Mazda series several years ago when it was still this style car before they went to the new car. So Anderson, very experienced. You see Futrell and then Jamie Sloan, and Anderson really beginning to close.
I liked what I saw of Futrell there. He had a big 4-wheel drift. The car really balanced out nice, where you see Sloan wagging the tail. He's in a full oversteer mode, not in a 4-wheel drift mode. And I think also Mike Anderson can see that.
Right now, Mike Anderson trying to work his way to the front. Holding on. For more, let's head down with Mike Johnson.
Well, Mike Anderson and Jamie Sloan both qualified under the track record, but now they're sitting in 2nd, 3rd. Dwayne, you're Mike Anderson's father. What's he saying on the radio, or is he having trouble getting around?
Well, the only thing that he said on the radio is Jamie's obsessed with beating him, and he shoved them wide down there, trying to protect the line down there, and it's third place snuck by both of them. And the outside of the line was Will Washy, so he lost some time there. This track's really hard to pass on, so he's just working on catching up and using a draft and see what happens.
Well, guys, this race might have been decided in the first turn of the race.
Yeah, you could be right about that, Mike. That was an aggressive move that Franklin Futrell did to take that lead from the get-go. And as long as these guys battle one another for 2nd place, Franklin's going to just drive away from them.
Well, now Mike Anderson and Jamie Sloan race against each other in the Southern Pacific Division, so they know each other pretty well as far as driving style goes. It'll be interesting to see how the tires hold up, Dorsey. Like you said, the balance being good. And we talked about the start and maybe being one at the start. Take a look at this.
And I think what happened was the pole sitter tried to slow the field up, but the flagman dropped the green flag early and allowed everybody a big run down into turn 1. You see him 3 wide, 2 rows deep. But Franklin Futrell made it known from the get-go, I'm going to win this race, or I want to try hard.
And Jamie Sloan there in the middle gets pushed a little wide. into Mike Anderson, so I'm not sure that Sloan had anywhere to go. Anyway you look at it, Formula Mazda is always a tight battle, and that's exactly what we saw, like you said, from the drop of the green. Well, we'll be back to more Formula Mazda Series action from Heartland Park, the 45th running of the SCCA National Championship Runoffs. Futrell continues to lead.
Jim Anderson is in his third year of racing in SCCA. Not only driving the race car this weekend, but Jim, you drive for a great cause back in Colorado. Tell us about SAINT.
Okay, SAINT stands for Senior Alternatives in Transportation, and it's a volunteer group that provides transportation for senior citizens and disabled folks. And the whole goal is to get them out into the community and allow them to do the things that improve their quality of life.
Jim's driving in his first runoffs, and he's driving for a great cause back in Colorado.
For the remainder of the well, there's Jim Anderson right now running 12th here in the Formula Mazda class, and I'm wondering if he goes and picks up some of these people that need a ride, does he drive at this speed when he takes them to the grocery store?
That'll get your heart going faster, no doubt about that.
But it is a good cause. Jim Anderson right now running 12th in his first runoffs, and a lot of times, Dorsey, when you come to the runoffs the first time, you just want to finish the thing. You want to get it under your belt. There's Franklin Futrell continuing to lead. He not only wants to win this race because it is the runoffs, but he wants to win it because if he does, he will win that very prestigious SCCA Triple Crown that goes to the winner of his division, the June Sprints, and the runoffs.
And he's run 2 of the 3 and trying to get that 3rd one today. This is your 10th place battle.
And this is deja vu all over again because Mark Broyles has climbed his way back after that braking mistake there over in turn 13, and he's all over the back of Sam Lockwood again.
He did it again just then. He got a little bit too close to the tailgate there and had to lock the brake down.
And it's a good thing it's cool. I'm noticing a bit of grass there in the left-hand radiator for Mark Broyles after that little off there, but Lockwood trying to hold down the 10th position, and it'd be good to get a top 10 finish here at the runoffs. Anytime you can walk out with something like that, that's good. The last time he was here, his best runoff start was 2006, 15th in the Formula Mazda class. I'm talking about Sam Lockwood. So this would be a big improvement.
You know, we heard him talking about how the Heartland Park racetrack is a tough place to pass, and it is because all these corners you don't have to brake for until you get to turn 10, 11, 12, and that's where he's been trying to make his pass by trying to outbrake, but he's got his timing off a little bit, Brian. He's getting too close to the car in front of him, and he's getting caught out by the stack-up effect, even though there's only 2 of them.
You got to give yourself a chance to put it in there, but you got to lay back a little bit to get that done.
And it's right here I'm talking about. Once they come off this section of the racetrack, you know, you get into the tight, twisty part of it, and where you do have to brake and go down a couple gears. Right here, he's going to try again.
But that's a quick corner there at the end. 10 is a quick corner, but if you can get through 10, you really have to slow down for 11 and 12, and that's where you're talking about being close enough to put it in there, but not so close that you get balked by the car in front of you.
And now he turned early, tried to get on the inside. Now
there he goes.
Oh.
Now this is onto the front straightaway, and guess what?
He's going to lose his momentum because he had to pinch the car off so tight. He couldn't get on the throttle as quickly as Sam could into the 70.
So for the second time today, Mark Broyles is going, I got it, I don't got it.
Yes. I think, you know, what you're seeing there is a guy that's new to racing that, you know, now he's side by side through turn 1. He's going to make that pass stick now.
Well, he's learning his craft is basically what you're saying.
Yeah.
And now he gets the job done and clears Lockwood and takes over 10th position. So Mark Broyles has fought for several laps, about 11, I think, to try to get that position. He has claimed it, and now he will begin to march forward.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Mark is learning his craft, and one of the things you have to learn other than just how to drive the race car is how to make passes and make passes without losing momentum, which we saw him make that mistake twice there.
And one of the great things about the 25 classes of SCCA National Competition, there is a place to learn for just about anybody. The 45th running of the SCCA National Championships continues, and the battle for Formula Mazda continues as well. Futrell leads over Jamie Sloan and Mike Anderson, who still have plenty of distance to go. Running of the SCCA National Championships continues from Heartland Park, Topeka. 25 different classes will do battle to claim the gold. Over 500 drivers making their way to Heartland Park to claim gold in 25 different classes. That's what they're after, and Formula Mazda on the track right now, doing battle to crown their champion for the 11th time in that class history of national competition.
Look at this. That's
Man.
the lead now. Franklin Futrell. They caught some traffic, Brian. They were lapping through some lap traffic. Franklin got through cleanly, and then Jamie Sloan and Mike Anderson both got held up.
Jamie Sloan is gone out of our camera shot. Mike Anderson flashes by. So we'll have to find out what happened to Jamie Sloan, but Anderson now at least equaling his best runoffs finish if he can hang in there, but the gap to leader Franklin Futrell has extended, and it is huge, Dorsey.
Yeah, and that was all, I think, as a result of those cars catching traffic, catching a car that they were lapping through. And obviously something happened with Sloan in that skirmish, the way it looks to me. Anderson is solidly in second place now, and we're not sure what happened with Jamie.
Well, at the line, almost 6.5 seconds in hand for Franklin Futrell. Jamie Sloan being shown in third, so he's still on the racetrack, but 10 seconds back. So a big skirmish there. I don't know whether it happened with Mike Anderson or it happened with lap traffic, but you also see the bright yellow car of Matthew Pombo that we talked about earlier now beginning to close on Jamie Sloan. He is the next car in line behind the white number 6.
Well, we know Sloan's car has been really loose, and when you're driving a loose race car, that's one thing, but when you have to go through traffic, let's take a look what happened to Jamie. Oh, guess what?
Oh, there's
loose.
the lap traffic. You called it. And Anderson, what a great job to go around the outside, but Jamie Sloan caught that lap car at just the wrong spot there at the apex of turn 4, and that's not a place where you want to have to jump on the brakes.
And that's kind of what I thought had happened, because I knew he was going to catch that lap traffic, and of course Jamie's car was real loose anyway, and it caught him off. He got on the brake like you said, and that spun the car, and Mike Anderson read it perfectly and escaped making a 2-car thing out of it.
Well, and really Jamie Sloan did a good job in spinning as well.
And a big spin here.
That's Pombo, who had been working his way up. Remember, he was up to 4th and beginning to close on that group in front of him, but he's had a problem there in turn 11. So Matthew Pombo will potentially drop from the top 5 as Franklin Futrell enjoying a big lead here.
He's going to have to be real careful, Brian. He's got a lot of dirt on the tires. You saw he was out there in the grass, and that you'll see what happens right here. He just got into the corner way too hot, spins the car. Here he's in the grass, and when he takes off, he's going to have coated tires.
That's a really good point, Dorsey. It'll probably take at least a lap to get those tires back to where they need to be. So Pombo wanting to go back to the front, make amends for his problem that he had there, but he'll have to be a bit careful. Battle a little bit further back. The 45 of Marchand with Russell Lindemann right behind him.
These guys have been going at it since the beginning of the race. Really good pairing off right there. Juan Marchand in the 45, like you said, Russ Lindemann in the 16.
Marchand finished 3rd last year, so not having the year that he had in 2007, he would like to improve going to the front, but right now he's got a mirror full of the 16 of Russell Lindemann.
Yeah, it looks like Lindemann's car is actually the faster of the two right now.
Lindemann, a division champion as well, so he certainly knows how to make a car go fast. He won the Rocky Mountain division this year, 6 of 7 national wins, so certainly has had a good season as far as on track goes. His runoffs, I know he'd like to be a bit better, but he's having a great battle with Marchand.
He is that. There's actually 5 divisional champions within the 14 drivers in this race, so good competition, as you said. Oh, a little bit of brake lock up there. Just shows you how hard the two of those guys are trying right now.
And this is a very tight area of the racetrack from turn 11 through turn 14 on to the front straightaway. You've got to have a car that works well at low speed, but here at Heartland Park Topeka, there are high-speed corners, low-speed corners, and that is why it is such a great venue to host the SCCA National Championship Runoffs, where we are for the 45th time. Take a look at your leaderboard. There are your top 5, and we'll be back. From the drop of the green at Formula Mazda, take a look. Your pole sitter, Jamie Sloan, in the red, white, and black Formula Mazda in the middle, gets taken advantage of by 97, Franklin Futrell. He jumps to the lead from 3rd on the grid. Mark Broyles had his problems in the 0. I got it? Okay, I got it.
Used up a lot of turf there.
But what about the problem for Jamie Sloan while running 2nd?
Just got into lap traffic and had to get off of the throttle right in the middle of the corner. Didn't judge that, and there you see the spin.
Matthew Pombo, who had been working his way towards the front, a problem down in turn 11 while charging, trying to get to a top 3 spot. That is Formula Mazda, and these guys have been at it tooth and nail all race long. Franklin Futrell trying to win that very coveted Triple Crown, and he has had good luck. He has worked through lap traffic without a problem, Dorsey. You saw the lap traffic really get hold of Jamie Sloan, dropped from his second place position back to third. Mike Anderson moved forward, but right now 6 seconds plus in hand for Franklin Futrell.
The 6 car pulling off on his own accord here. So this is a mechanical problem for Jamie.
And once again, you don't see a lot of mechanical issues on these Formula Mazda cars. They're pretty well bulletproof, which is why they used them in driver schools for so many years and why it is such a popular class. But right now, your pole sitter pulling to the side, Jamie Sloan with a mechanical issue. That'll take some pressure off of Mike Anderson. But the man with no pressure is this man, Franklin Futrell.
Yeah, he's got 6.5 second lead right now over second place, which is Mike Anderson. So that's a lot of lead with only 3 laps left in this race.
And Futrell, one of the youngsters in the field, only 22 years old. He too perhaps hoping for a career in motorsports. In this battle continuing, Juan Marchand in the 45, Russell Lindemann in the red and yellow number 16. That is the battle for 4th. Marchand has it in the blue 45.
Boy, but here comes Lindemann. Trying again. He's been looking there on turn 10 off the back straightaway. He gets a better run, Brian, through that corner. He comes off a 9 better, and he gets some momentum going. But now watch here. This is where the passing zones really are good.
Lindemann seems to be very good off of the corners, but not able to do anything with it. And Marchand pretty good in the slow speed stuff, but he messed up 14 that time.
Yeah, you know what? He's trying to square off these corners and get a better run off the corner, but they pinched down that one. Oh. And look at this, a little bit of blocking going on now.
Marchand going, I'm not going to give you the draft. I think I'll move here and I'll move there. And Lindemann not able to do anything with it. Marchand perhaps running a bit less downforce, Dorsey. He seems to have good straight line speed.
Yeah, he's good on the top end stuff for sure. He's really good up there through 9 and 10. He comes through 9 with the big 4-wheel drift, and he really carries momentum onto the back straight.
But Lindemann, through these corners where downforce is an issue, really seems to close the gap again. 2 very different philosophies that you can run here at Heartland Park.
Well, these are adjustable arrows, so they've got front wing, rear wing that they can increase or decrease their level of downforce and drag.
And I don't know if it's an optical illusion or not because of that rear wing, the light colored rear wing on Marchand's car and the yellow on the 16 of Lindemann, but it almost looks like Lindemann carrying more wing. It's visible, you can see it.
Well, this is where you see him get really good. Lindemann on the high end side of this corner usually really comes through here good. We'll take a look and see if he gets it this time. See a real nice cut through that corner, and he'll gain here.
Yep, and he gains, and you got to think that car working better. Is it downforce? Is it tires? He has the speed out of the corner, but not at the end. So that makes me think it's downforce.
Yeah, and Marchand doing a great job on threshold braking. Each one of those times, you see him just barely locking the brakes up, getting some smoke, but not lock up.
17 laps in the books, working 18. The final lap for Franklin Futrell, the 22-year-old, looking for the Triple Crown. Not only the victory here at the Runoffs, but what a stellar season that would be if he could hold on and take the victory here. To win the division, to win the June sprints, and to win the Runoffs, pretty impressive. Now, he has been to the Runoffs before once. He finished 11th in 2005 in Spec Racer Ford, so he knows about spec classes. And Futrell taking that knowledge and putting it to good use right here. But this race is far from over.
Yeah, this is your battle for 3rd place, and it's the only real battle coming to the wire now. And this is the end of the racetrack where the Russ Lindemann, the 16, the second place car back, is really good through this area.
And when you've got a car with downforce and you know it works well in some places but not well in others, Dorsey, you really have to remain calm and plan your attack, don't you?
Yeah, and he just rattled Juan a little bit there. Juan with the slide loses ground. Now watch, the closest they've been. Lindemann trying to get his nose inside. If he gets it inside, it's going to be over with.
Now that's flat through turn 7 there, the left-hander. This leads you up to 8 and 9, what used to be called the chicane, but it's really been opened up.
And this is where Lindemann really shines, right through this corner.
Good run off again, picks up several car lengths, has the momentum off the corner.
He'll go for it.
Marchand blocks to the inside, but down the front straightaway, nothing in the way of victory for Franklin Futrell. He takes the checkered flag and he takes the Triple Crown. Great run. Mike Anderson will equal his best finish. He'll take second, but this battle is spectacular. For the last step on the podium, Juan Marchand in the blue, Lindemann in the yellow and red behind him, and it has been this way all race long. Lindemann perhaps just a little too much downforce, not able to get the job done, and Juan Marchand takes third. For 2 years in a row, Marchand finds the podium and finds the same step.
Now, those two guys had the most fun of anybody in the race, except probably for Franklin Futrell, who won.
And of those two, Marchand had the most fun because he finished in front. But a great run by Franklin Futrell, never put a wheel wrong. And really, I think Mike Johnson said it, the race was won at the drop of the green. Futrell, with that great start, leapt from the drop of the green and was never headed after that. Mike?
Well, obviously with a very happy father down here, Jeff Futrell. I mean, your son took it from the lead and then from the start of the race drove the great race the whole way out. You never see a lead like that at the end, and especially in a spec class.
You know, some people are born to play the violin and some people are born to race cars. Franklin has an unbelievable God-given talent, and I couldn't be more proud of him. The Triple Crown is something we've been working for since he was 10 years old. This is just an awesome feeling.
Well, now we have you here, but where mom and sister, they're at home watching this on computer?
His sister's at Auburn, and she's watching on computer. My phone's ringing right now. I know that's his mother. She's watching it at work, and my whole office is watching it on the computer, too. This is just an unbelievable day.
All right, congratulations, guys.
Great stuff. You know, as race fans, we get to go to a lot of races. You get to see a lot of races. You get to see the big ones. Well, you know what? For these guys, this is Le Mans. It's Indy. You name it, that's what it is. You heard the emotion. We'll be back for the celebrations for the Formula Mazda National Championships. The gold will be handed out, and the celebrations will begin. On the phone to Mom. The 2008 Formula Mazda National Championship has been settled here in Heartland Park, Topeka. And there's a look at your top five. Franklin Futrell, a very happy winner. Mike?
Franklin, you're actually shaking down here. Congratulations. But we all want to know what it was like the first corner, first turn. I mean, the start was really the part of the race.
Yeah, Mike, they had a couple of tenths on me the whole week. And I knew I had to get it done on cold tires if I was going to have anything for them. So good start. Good week. Very proud of my crew, my dad, my sponsor, Bruce Lawrence from the Speed Connection, Goodyear Tires, Mazda Speed. I couldn't do it without any of those guys.
Well, now you guys, at the start of the race, you guys went in, what, 3 wide, and you made a move and you felt like you had it going into the first turn?
Yeah. I told my dad I was either going to come out of the first turn with the lead or on the wrecker, so we came out with the lead.
Yeah, the lead's always better than the wrecker. And you know what else, guys, I like? I want to show you guys this. They already gave him the contingency check right here. When do you see that? The check is in his hand on the way home. Congratulations.
Thanks, Mike.
That's awesome stuff. You get a check while you're still sitting in the car on pit lane. Good stuff and a great drive. You heard him say I was going to have the lead or I'd be on the wrecker, and what a job there when the green flag flew. Franklin Futrell straight to the lead. I think he snookered the entire front row in a tremendous job. Really never headed after that. As they left turn 2, he had about a 3-second lead, so spectacular stuff. We'll look through the entire field because we had great battles all throughout the Formula Mazda battle. What about that battle between Marchand and Lindemann all the way to the end? I know Pombo had a good run going as well. Saw some good battles with Lockwood and Mark Broyles in addition. So these guys, as we said, battles all around this racetrack. That is a look at your top 10 and the rest of the field right there. So good stuff. Bad luck for Casey Carden out early, as well as Jamie Sloan. Let's head down to Chris Neville.
Well, Mike Anderson finished second in 06. He didn't run in 07, but Mike, you started second today. You dropped back to third. Talk about that opening lap, that opening corner.
Yeah, I got a pretty good start. I was abreast of Jamie, and then Futrell got an amazing start. He came up the inside and we were 3 wide going into 1, and I was on the outside, which was a little sketchy, so I had to kind of tuck in there.
Yeah, you got caught up in a battle there with Sloan for most of the race. He ended up dropping out. If you didn't have that battle, would you have been able to pressure Futrell at all?
Yeah, I was hoping, Jamie's car looked like it was a little loose, and I was hoping that I could take advantage of that. And when we caught the traffic, I think that oversteer got the best of Jamie, and he just lost it. And but I had to slow down a lot to avoid him, and then Futrell was just gone. So I was trying my best to close the gap, but there was only 5 laps left to go at that point.
Well, he grabs a second, so good finish for Mike Anderson.
Good finish for Mike Anderson, but the race was really done right there for Mike Anderson. If he had not missed Jamie Sloan and made that decision, the proper decision to go wide, it would have all been done.
Yeah, it would have been. Here's your winner. He's a happy guy taking his victory lap, and that's one thing that the SCCA always lets you do, which is a high for the driver, to go out there and have that flag and see all the corner crews and all that and tell them you're number one.
And Franklin Futrell, a remarkable young man, 22 years old, and what a job he did. He had it all planned from the very beginning. He knew what he wanted, and he celebrates right now, taking the spoils, the checkered flag in the Formula Mazda National Championship. We'll be back for more. Heartland Park, Topeka, and it is a beautiful day here, a beautiful weekend in store for us. Last year we had a lot of rain around the runoffs, none in sight at least for the next couple of days, which is good news, especially for these competitors. It has been a great day to race the Formula Mazda National Championship. A little bit windy. Other than that, it has been a great day. It's been a good day for this man as well, and he is with Mike.
Well, Juan Marchand, third place last year, third place this year, but you definitely had the best race of the day, fighting for third place, getting that last podium spot.
Absolutely, Mike. I started in 7th place, had a tough night last night, putting a gearbox back together. It kept popping out of gear. Every time in the autocross section, it popped out of first gear, so I had to keep my hand on the shifter, going around the tight turns with the left hand. Got third place, man.
Well, I noticed that everyone else is here celebrating with friends, family, crew, but you're all alone. I mean, you drove the truck, worked on the car, changed the gearbox, drive the car. Now, do you get to celebrate by yourself, or do you have people to do that with you?
I'll probably celebrate by myself, but this is the last time I'm going to do this by myself, so the one-man show's over today, so I lived it up. I learned a lot, but that's about it. It's way too much work, and it's too tough on me physically, so.
Well, congratulations. Over to Chris with 4th place.
Russ Lindemann was 7th last year, 4th place this year. Russ, you're making some good progress at the runoffs here. You had a great battle with Juan Marchand there. Tell us about that.
Oh, that was tough. I knew when he got by me early in the race that I was going to have my hands full, and he can. He knows every trick in the book to keep a guy behind him. So we've duked it out pretty good.
Well, Juan might be celebrating by himself, but Russ is celebrating with his wife, Lori, down here. And Lori, you do a lot of crewing on this car. You do pretty much everything he tells you. Is it getting pretty exciting now how well he's doing?
Absolutely. I'm so proud of him. This has been a dream to come to the runoffs and do this well. End up in the top 6 is awesome. One year we're going to be in first place. 1 year.
Congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
Good to have a goal, and certainly Lindemann working towards that. I mean, every year he's improving, so you got to give him kudos for that as we take a look around the racetrack. This has been a great place for these guys to do battle. This is the 3rd year they're here, and we've always seen good Formula Mazda battles. Mike has more.
Well, bringing home a top 5 for Raceworks, Matt Pombo. You were in 3rd for a while, but, dropped back to 5th. What happened?
Well, this is my first runoffs in these things, my 5th time in the car, so catching the gears is a little tough for me. I caught first gear going around and it spun me. So I'd like to thank Hoosier, Mazda, Raceworks, my parents, my brother, everybody that brought me here. It was a fun time. Hopefully I'll get to do these again. They're a blast. Everybody out watching at home should definitely try one.
Well, I agree with you that they're a fun car to drive, and you always got to throw the parents in there because they're always a big part of anybody's racing career. Guys?
Well, and refreshing to hear a race car driver say, I made a mistake.
Yeah, no doubt about that. This is very much a family sport. This is how I grew up with. My parents brought me to the runoffs and, helped. You can't afford to do this without some help from your parents, really,
Well, and you talk about it, family environment, and that's what a lot of people do. They come here as almost a vacation. They bring their wife, their friends, their coworkers, their family. They get their sons and daughters out of school on the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday that the races are actually run, and it is a great environment. It is a group of friends. It is a group of competitors, and a lot of times you'll find these guys not only doing battle on the racetrack, but the camaraderie back there in the paddock. You see the paddock area where all of the racers are and their trailers are. They help each other out. If there's a problem, they get things done. Mike is with 6th place.
And we talked about you at the beginning of the show about 4th place, best time at the runoffs thus far. How'd your race go?
Well, it went pretty well. Just a bad start, that's all. And we tried to do our best. We have a few miscues, but we tried to keep it on the track. So it was a pretty good finish for us. 9th last year, 6th this year, 3rd next year, and probably 1st in a couple of years.
Well, that's definitely a great progression. We actually heard a lot today about missed gears, missed shifts. There's something about this track or the gearbox that just causes some problems, or you have to downshift in the wrong spot?
Well, I was kind of all over the place, so probably that's one of the causes. you know, I was siders in a lot of places, so probably that was
Great. Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Another great Formula Mazda National Championship battle. The 45th running of the SCCA National Championship Runoffs. We are glad we could bring it to you. For Dorsey Schrader, Mike Johnson, Chris Neville, I'm Brian Till. Make sure you catch all of the Runoffs action right here, only on Speed.